Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video on the channel. Today we have with us a very special guest. He is an ex-Indian under 19 footballer. He is a person who founded the Minerva Punjab FC, and he is a person whose academy has continuously produced some of India's finest footballing talents and is still continuing to produce them. The likes of Anwar Ali, Jackson Singh, Namtamba Nauram, and that list goes on. Yes, you know who I'm talking about. It's none other than Mr. Ranjit Bajaj on the channel today. So, without wasting any more time, let's get onto the video.
Yeah, they are well planned, and so I think Harishchandra had a question about the youth. One more question.
Yeah, go on. The young footballers are lacking opportunities when they are coming to ISL. For example, Komal Tatar, who was a wonder kid in the Under-17 World Cup, didn't even get much opportunities in the last 2 years. What's your opinion about it?
Bro, and sadly, I had offered Komal Tatkal before this offer to ATK. I offered him that you come to us, I will give you 50,000 rupees plus I will give you guaranteed game time. And he didn't take that offer.
He took the other
And
offer.
yes, and he took the offer. He didn't. If he had taken that offer, trust me, he could have been playing in the Indian team right now. Why? Because the Indian team will not look at who's a good player. They will look at your current form. They can only look at your fucking current form if you're playing for some team. Na?
That's
It's
what
not
Simaj
about
is looking right now.
exactly. So see, you think Nong will not be in the contention for the Indian team? He will be. But he was playing in the I League. So what? He will still be in contention for the Indian team because of the season he's had. No Indians had a season like this.
Yeah.
So so it's just simple knowledge that if you perform, doesn't matter where you're performing, and you are performing at that time, they look at current form. So and at this time, it would have been a revelation if you would have been able to play. So you keep on going, and the people who got game time are now in reckoning for the Indian team. Like Shubham Sarangi was being given game time in Delhi Dynamos, and he is now being in reckoning for the main senior team because उसको game time मिला है.
Yeah.
और अगर शुभम सरंगी को हम बेंच पे बिठा के रखते, he wouldn't have been given game time. I mean, he wouldn't have been given selection. The same way, now they are talking about Joby Justin and all these guys coming in. Now they're coming in. They've just stopped talking about him because he didn't get game time again.
Otherwise, Joby has extended the contract also.
Yeah, but he got game time. That's why he got that contract when the earlier.
Yeah.
यहाँ पे गोल मारे ईस्ट बंगाल के लिए तभी तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट मिला था उसको.
हाँ.
अब वहां पे जाके
previous year 9 goals and the last year only 1 goal.
Yeah. See, everything is about game time. To coaches, to managers, to staff, everybody needs game time. Unless you give them, for example, Manveer, वो कहते हैं अगला सुनील छेत्री कहाँ से मिलेगा? And they try to compare Manveer to him. Come on, man, that's very unfair on Manveer. Why? Sunil Chhetri got game time since the time he was in Delhi.
Yeah. He is the one person who is getting game time.
जहाँ पे गया 90 मिनट मिलते थे उसको खेलने के. जहाँ पे नहीं मिले फरी एफसी में वो वापस आ गया वहां से क्योंकि गेम टाइम नहीं मिल रहा था. And he was playing, so all these Varini जहाँ पे भी गया सुनील छेत्री went to Portugal.
Yeah.
He came back because he's not getting proper game time. Here he was getting game time. He's been developed. Manveer Singh second division में मेरे लिए खेला था. He was 18 years old, 17, 18, and he जितना game time उसको second division में मिला in 2016, 17, in 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20. In 3 years उतना game time बेचारे को ISL में नहीं मिला.
Yeah.
So how do we expect him to do well when you only brought on for 10-15 minutes in a match?
Yeah, sir, when the I-League was the first division league, many Indian strikers came up like JJ, Robin Singh, etc. But when ISL came on, we lacked the production of Indian strikers.
Yes, very true.
Then fans are having a notion that ISL is ruining the youth development of India. What's your opinion about it?
I totally agree with all fans, and I totally agree with your stats. The stats are there; they don't lie. How many strikers has ISL produced? Zero. How many strikers has just one team produced in the last 5 years? Arrows, they produce at least 10 strikers.
Yeah.
Arrows
produce strikers. ISL teams buy them, don't give them opportunity, and finish. Yeah.
See, you have 7 foreigners playing with you. That means guaranteed forget about any coach. I'm not going to blame the coach. Why? Because if I am a coach and you give me 7 foreigners and I can play 6 of them, I'll put the two strikers, 2 midfielders, 2 centre backs. ये मेरी spine होगी team.
Yeah.
So India is producing what? Left backs and right backs. And left wing and right wing. बहुत है हमारे पास.
Yes, that's
Earlier,
true.
kids used to come to me and say, "Sir, I want to be a striker," and I had to force them. To say, "नहीं यार, striker तू बहुत छोटा है, तू लंबा है, तू बड़ा है, तू मोटा है, तू ये बन जा, तू ये बन जा." Now I have to force kids to become strikers because 5% kids want to become strikers now because they see अगर बन भी जाएंगे तो खेलेंगे कहाँ. Shubham Sarangi used to be the highest scorer in the under 15 I League when we won the first under 15 I League. He was a striker, and now he's been made into a right back. So they see this happening. So they see that strikers are converted into left backs because the strikers they're going to have foreigners. But if there are only 4 foreigners,
the 3 plus 4 go.
Yes, either you'll have to play 1 Indian centre back or 1 Indian striker.
Yeah.
तो जगह मिलेगी guaranteed. आई लीग
Guaranteed.
में मिल रही है ना, आई लीग में मिलती है. फिर मेरे यहाँ से छोटे प्रोड्यूस हो गया, हिमांशु जांगरा प्रोड्यूस हो गया. ऑल दीज गाइज हैव बीन प्रोड्यूस्ड फ्रॉम प्लेइंग बिकॉज़ मेरी एक जगह खाली होती है और एक मैं स्ट्राइकर होता है फॉरनर. ऑलवेज. एंड आई ऑलवेज हैव 2 स्ट्राइकर्स बिकॉज़ द इंडियन स्ट्राइकर ऑलवेज रिप्लेसेस द इंडियन स्ट्राइकर जब थक जाता है उसको ले आते हैं.
Indian Arrows also produced.
Sometimes plays with 90 minutes. Like if it's a Willis Plaza or Dika, you will probably not replace him because he can score anytime.
Yeah. Vikram Pradap also was a very good.
Right now in my Minerva Academy, I have 4 boys working. I have Manveer, the Indian senior striker. I have Vikram Pradap. I have Himanshu Changra. They are all here and they are actually every day I see them. Obviously, other than that, we've got Deepak Tangri, we've got Narinder Gehlot, we've got Sandesh Chindan, we've got Anwar Ali Junior. They're all Himanshu Changra. So there are 4 strikers, these guys and these guys who are working out. And every day I can see the difference in those boys if you give them confidence. And I've seen Vikram and I've seen Himanshu and Manveer score such goals which I can never see them score there in the normal practices because they don't get that much game time. Here when they play for 2 hours every day, they're getting into the rhythm. Then the moment you put them on the bench and you make them play for 5 minutes, वो 5 मिनट तो टाइम लग जाता है बंदे को सेटल होने में यार इन मैच.
True. And interestingly, only 5 minutes was given to Komal Tatal in the entire season of the ISL last season.
Exact. Now, so what's the point?
Yeah, that's it.
So
this is the time. See, this is the time they can. By the way, so when do players improve the most as a professional? They improve the most as a professional between the ages of 17 and 23.
yeah,
But only if they get game time. If they don't get game time, they actually go down. Because they're kids yet. So if they get game time, they become better. If they don't, they become worse. So it is imperative that youngsters are given time. Otherwise, there's no point of buying them.
yes.
So should the youngsters move to other countries seeking the opportunities? Like Ishan Pandita is playing in Spanish 3rd division where he scored 6 goals last season.
See, bhai, I tell you, playing foreign league always makes sense. For example, I think Gurpreet Singh Sandhu made the worst decision of his life when he came here. Why? Because if he had stayed on, see, his money, he was going to get 10 times here.
Yeah.
Starpanti as a great star, he is going to become 100 times the star here. He's a superstar.
Yes.
There, no one even knows his name. But there he had a chance. How much chance? 10% chance of reaching the Premier League. Why? The last goalkeeper who was playing for the same club he was playing for, his name is Al Habsi, Oman's national captain, who played all his life in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Because he stayed and played in that Norwegian league for 5 years, someone picked him up from a European league.
Yeah, he also Gurpreet also had a stint in Europa League also.
Yes, and now if he stays, doesn't matter. That's what I keep on saying. Even if Sunil Chetri scores 100 goals in the ISL, he'll not be picked up by Manchester United.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if Himanshu is playing an under 15 versus under 15 match against Manchester United, he scores 3 goals against their team, he'll be picked up by the Manchester United academy. And if he does well in that academy, he will make the Manchester United main team.
Yes.
So again and again, develop your players and send them early so that they have a chance. So if you're if your boy does well against the junior teams of those teams, they will pick him up. That's the only time they will pick him up. They will never pick him up if he's doing well and scoring 10 goals in the I League. They don't consider the I League anything or ISL anything for that matter.
Yeah, sir. Now, the one major announcement you guys made was of the Delhi Football Club partnership. Now, why did you choose Delhi Football Club, and what was the reason behind that?
See, the first thing was development of players. Again, the model is going to be Minerva's model. The focus is all going to be on juniors and the youngsters.
Yeah.
So from there, I want to build up a team which will take us to the seniors and the Delhi Senior Association, and then obviously, hopefully, the second division, and then hopefully the I League, and then hopefully the ISL. So the right way by promotion, promotion, promotion. And it's again a long-term plan, because if even if no one, I mean, unless you have a fairy tale run, it's not impossible to say you'll jump three divisions in 3 years. So it might take 4 years, it might take 5, it might take 6, 7. So we are here in for the long run, no problem. That's what football is.
Yeah.
But we want to do it the right way. And the main thing is have Delhi also as a hub. So if you have Minerva, which is already running as a hub, and then we have Delhi also as a hub, then football has been revived. So I'm so happy that when I came to Punjab, the only club which had a proper academy was us. And then now we have 6 academies. Then we have Rudka Kala was the only academy before us. Now that's also become a proper I League academy. So we have 6 academies here. We have now new clubs coming up. There's a new club coming up from Pagwada, from where JCT is. There's a new club from Round Glasses come in. And then we are also there. So the senior league is also good. They do the under 14, under 17 boys and girls. They do baby golden leagues. So football in Punjab is healthy.
Yeah.
Same way, Delhi, if when that happens in Delhi, then my job in Delhi is done. But till that happens, my focus is going to be in Delhi. So once we make sure Delhi League is one of the most talked about leagues in India, which can happen very soon as well, but if it takes time, I'm there for the long run. Yeah. Because see, a nation is judged according to how your capital is doing in football. You look at London, you look at Paris, you look at any big nation, their capital is where people look at for football teams. And unfortunately, before Sudeva came in, we had nobody representing Delhi. So we need not one, we need 2, 3, 4 teams from Delhi in the top leagues in ISL and I League.
Yeah.
So the arrival of Delhi Dynamos gave a great hope and revive for the football and football fans in Delhi. But last year they changed their base from Delhi to Odisha, which was a heartbreaking event for many fans. Now Minerva has came to Delhi. What can the fans expect, and what's your message for the fans?
See, we are totally. I made a very big decision beforehand only that we are going to be a fan-based club in Delhi. In fact, so much so that the ultras who are the Dynamo ultras are now Delhi FC ultras. They have all been converted, and they are part of the management. So they all will be having responsibilities and jobs and livelihoods.
That's great. That's
Guys
amazing.
will be working officially for us, and so we'll always be in touch with the base, with the fans. So we can never go wrong. As long as you listen to your fans, you can never go wrong.
Yeah.
That's great, sir.
That's great, sir. So, talking about that, now Sudeva has also come into the I League, and the owner had made a statement. Like they will be trying to field an all-Indian team in the I League this season. Don't you think that's a great decision by her?
See, it's a great decision as long as they can find the right Indian players, because it's been proven by Arrows that not only can you compete, you can beat the biggest teams if you have a good Indian selection. It's been shown by Arrows.
Arrows even beat the Kerala Blast Super Cup.
Arrows beat us. Arrows have beaten everybody.
Yeah.
And they don't do it this year. They do it on every single year daily basis. So people keep on underestimating them and keep on proving us wrong. Even though we've got 7 of the boys in Arrows were Minervans this time, and all were on loan. So we had actually 2 teams playing in the I League this time.
Proud moment.
Yeah, Vikash, Harmi Pom, Suranji, then the old players, Gibson, Vikram Pratap, all these boys were ours only, man. So it's a great experience playing against them. So see, it's a great thing because it shows that Indians belong. And I think this is the year for them to do it. Why? Because they have protection, because they're a corporate entry. They are relegation protected. So they can actually save the money, put that money in the development of the cat club, and be probably next year when there's relegation for them, be ready for the relegation because they would have saved enough money for next year and given enough game time to these boys so that they're ready for next year and sell some of them so they can get revenue as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sir, the one other question I want to ask you is about the Delhi Football Club stadium. So, are you planning to build the stadiums like you had been doing with the Minerva Academy, Minerva?
Yeah, so what we have done already with it, we have fenced the whole place up. We have started the fencing.
Yeah.
They didn't have a fence. Then we are making baths. We've already started making bathrooms. We started making urinals and dressing rooms. All construction has started. The ground is already looking really good. We're cutting it and maintaining it. A staff of 7, 8 people have already moved there. 4 who are locals and 4 who are going to be gone there from here. That means groundsmen and operations guys. So as soon as Delhi starts, let us operate. We're going to start our camps and all. And then the moment they let us have trials, we're going to have our trials for our senior team, 13, 15, 18 I-League teams. The stadium, we are going to develop that as a second division ground. That means nowadays, especially this year, there's going to be no crowds. So you don't actually need a stadium. We require a ground with particular number of rooms and bathrooms and all to be there because social distancing.
Yeah.
And as long as they're there, we can actually play in our matches in that ground. So it's a great fill up for all teams. Once we do that, we hope that we will be a big alternative to all the foreign academies. See, my competition in Delhi is not with Sudeva's academy or with other small academies all over Delhi. My competition is going to be with Barcelona and PSG and all these academies who think they are Indian academies. They're not. Okay, so to prove to them, if you want to really learn football, you come to Minerva and you come to Delhi FC because we've got the results. How many people have Barcelona produced in the Indian national team? Oh, forget that. Have you taken them to Barcelona to play for Barcelona? The baat ban mein.
Yeah, that's one thing because that
That's true. Many academies are there, but no one produce much great players.
Yeah.
they are here for the money, I guess. They're nothing else.
And it's not that we did it for 1 year. We have done it every single year. We've got silverware in the last 5 years. Obviously, this year everything was cancelled. But other than that, every year since our inception, we've got silverware. Doesn't matter which league we played in. And that just shows that what we are doing is working. Then the number of internationals we produce on a yearly basis shows that what we are doing is working. So I think results is what matters to people. And if kids, the first thing in a kid's mind should be, I want to play for India. Not I want to play in ISL, I want to play for India. Because if you play for India, you will definitely play in ISL. Guaranteed. So your aim should be that you should be playing for India. Not get into the Indian team by playing into ISL. First play for India, then get into ISL yourself, man. People will run after you.
Yeah. So then I had one more question that now lot of clubs are announcing like Sahal Abdul Samad signing a 5-year extension, then Nishu Kumar signing a 5-year contract with Kerala, then Subhash is signing a long-term contracts have been signed by the Indian players now in the ISL clubs. Do you think that's a good thing or do you think that will be affecting their playing time if they are not given the playing time?
No, I think it's a great thing. Why? Because at least now we've got stability. When you give 1-year contracts, 2-year contracts, you are not sure either of the player or of yourself
Yeah.
what you're going to be. So if clubs are giving 5-year contracts, they know that they don't intend to go anywhere at least for the next 10, 15 years. That's why they're giving a 5-year contract. They're safe. So it's a good sign for Indian football when longer contracts are there. Then fans can actually connect. See what Mohun Bagan East Bengal have is fan connect, and why ISL teams have not been able to get that is because they do not have players playing for them for a long time. Now, Kerala Blasters had Sandesh Jhingan from the very beginning. That's why the most famous player in Kerala is Sandesh Jhingan. Now, more teams do that and have players for a longer time. They start identifying the club with the player and identifying even themselves with the player. So they need to do that, and it's a great move. For example, we've got 5-year contracts. Even forget about Nishu Kumar and Gurpreet Singh Sandhu and all these guys. Even for Rahul Beke and for another Bengali boy, Yashish. I think both got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So see, the point is that it's a good thing, and it sets a good trend. That means there's stability in football.
Yes. So, sir, coming to some last questions, I wanted to ask you is what do you think is the one major change that Indian football needs as soon as possible?
By coaching, immediately cheap coaching. You make coaches available everywhere. You start getting footballers produced. See, जब हम स्कूल में होते थे तो हमारे को doesn't matter what class you were in, we were promoted football or volleyball because that was the easiest sport to play. And even volleyball से भी easier football. Why? Because you require 4 bricks and 1 ball. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you go and play. So you've got it happening in every school. That's the whole. Probably if you have one game happening in every school, is football. We need to have the right coaches there, and that will only happen if we make it really dirt cheap. And that's where I come in. I'm offering my entire facility free of cost to AIFF so that they can make coaching cheap, and that's where the revolution will come from. Doesn't matter how much money you keep on spending on the top. Even if you think, point is, you think you bring Messi and Ronaldo and make them play in the Indian league, our players will become Messi and Ronaldo.
Never.
No, man, they will not, yeah. You'll probably
We
get
need to
excited.
base that from.
Yeah, so yes, you improve playing with players, but you don't become them, yeah. If you improve once you are a senior, you improve by this much every year. When you're junior, you improve by this much every year. So that's where you should be putting the money.
So, sir, the last question I wanted to ask you is about your plan. You have conveyed about this plan that you want to make India qualify for the World Cup by 2034, 2038. So, what's your idea? Are you planning to start from the 11 years, 12 years?
No. See, it's already been planned, and that's why we had a webinar a few days yesterday.
Yeah.
Where I launched AFCAI. That means Association of Football Clubs and Academies in India. So we have an association for coaches, we have one for players, but we don't want to have one for the real stakeholder, which are clubs and academies. And I don't
Yeah.
talk about ISL and I League clubs, second division. I'm talking about the ones at the base. So even if every district has 10 clubs, which it has, that means every district has at least 1 million people and they have 10 clubs. 10 clubs, matlab, women, men, futsal, handicapped, for differently abled people, for for everything. They have clubs, at least 10 clubs. And even if we make an association and there's 7,000 clubs and academies on one side, it's very easy for us to just network and get our stuff done, then just wait for AF to come and help us and help each other out. So there's so many academies which don't know what to do, and that's where we come in. That's why, see, because what happens in India is we have just one thing going well in juniors. Earlier it used to be Tata Football Academy, which used to be the gold standard. And now it is Minerva Academy, which is the gold standard.
Yeah.
We don't need one Minerva, one TFA. We need 100 TFAs or 100 Minervas. And that is the aim with this association, to get those 100 Minervas.
Yes.
Our aim is that if Iceland can do it with a population of 300,000, 3 lakh. 3 lakh हमारी दुर्गा पूजा या दिवाली के मेले भी होते हैं, ठीक है? So 3 लाख के में से साले क्वालिफाई करके तो हम भी कर सकते हैं, और वो तो सारे यूरोप से किए थे. हमारे को तो एशिया में लड़ना है. तो क्या करना है? So we get ages at 5, 6 and 7 and we train them. We've already selected boys. We've already got 40 boys. The space is for 70 boys. So 40 boys from all over India who are between the ages of 5 and 8 right now. And they will be taken care of by us for the next 10 years. And they will, every year, after 2 years, they'll be going to play against clubs abroad. And every year they'll be touring one country. So when we are playing
That's
against
amazing.
Germany, we'll be playing against 10 of German clubs. And then next year, under 11, we'll be playing against Spanish clubs. The next year, English clubs. So hopefully, by the age of 15, 7, 8 of them are playing in the Premier League academies of the world. By the age of 20, 6 of them are playing in the Premier Leagues in any of the part of the world. And we are qualifying for the World Cup automatically. If we have 6 Indians playing in the Premier League, we are qualifying.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, sir, thank you for taking your time for letting us do this interview with you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Oh,
Yes,
it's my
it's a
pleasure,
pleasure.
my brother. It's a pleasure to be at the stadium, even if it is a virtual online stadium.
Yeah, that's what we have got now.
I am in the stadium and I love it. Thank you guys for having me, and I hope you guys take care and keep yourself safe.